So what happens when things go wrong? In our last couple of lessons, we looked at meiosis and mitosis as different types of cell division that we have. If the DNA isn't duplicated exactly, genetic changes or mutations might occur, and these mutations might alter the instructions that the cell is given and what function it's supposed to be. So this could cause some problems in the cell and ultimately the whole body. It can also cause variations to the individual, and it may be favourable. Not all mutations are harmful. Some of them may be favourable, and they may end up being passed on to the next generation. So mutations is one way that favourable variations can occur in a species so that they can withstand any changes in the environment. So think to natural selection when we were talking about those that have favourable characteristics that enable them to survive in their environment. How do they get that that edge, that advantage? And it's through some mutations that might occur. So we can see here in the picture here, we've kind of got a Cruella de Vil happening here where her hair is black, but something's happened with the top here. And here again, a dark-haired girl with quite dark skin with those piercing blue eyes. So what I'd like you to do is write these notes that are in red in your book. So if you can pop the heading into your book, Mutations, and copy these notes down. So you may need to pause this video. So a mutation is the name given to any process which alters the structure or the sequence of the genes or the chromosomes. So it may be that, and we'll look at it in a minute, that the order of the letters has changed when the DNA replicated. It might have been that one extra base was added in or one was actually deleted, which then obviously changes the, for want of a better word, the words in the book. If you put an extra letter in a word, it changes the whole meaning. And it's the same here. Each one of those 3-letter codons, if you put another one of those 4 bases in, it's going to change the protein that it codes for. So think back to that activity with the hair color that we looked at. So this might happen if the division process doesn't occur properly, and it can also happen if the gametes or the sex cells don't have the right number of chromosomes. So one example that's quite common is trisomy 21. Trisomy means 3 copies of the 21st chromosome, which leads to Down syndrome, and that's called a chromosomal mutation. So if we have a look at this diagram here, you can see that this is what's called our karyotype. They're our chromosomes when they're arranged like this, and we can see here chromosome 1, 2, 3, and you can see for each one there are 2 pairs. One comes from your mother, one comes from your father. They're different sizes. You get down here, and instead of only having 2, they have 3. Over here we have our sex chromosomes, the X bigger, the Y quite significantly smaller, and they do carry some genetic traits that can be passed on from generation to generation, like colour blindness and haemophilia, that will then affect sometimes more of one sex than another, but it also determines the sex. So if you have a look here at this picture, you can see that in this case, most of these pictures that we do have here are not favourable characteristics. So in the case of this girl here, she has got multiple limbs, as does this lamb, and usually in the case of the lamb, they would euthanize that animal because it usually will affect its function. It could be then open to predation and so on. You can see over here different things that have been growing. Perhaps this was a baby at birth that might have been one cell, and when it divided, it didn't fully divide, and so therefore perhaps that's why they're co-joined. I don't know that they really know. And looking here also at our duck. So how does it happen? It can happen where it might just be the order of the bases that might happen in that replication process. So they're called base or point mutations. Base because it's a change in one of the bases, and it occurs at a certain point. So just because one letter may have changed, either one letter extra, one letter less, or just the letter is a different letter, can have a huge effect. So you may or may not have heard of sickle cell anemia, which is a fatal blood condition, and it's a change just by one base pair. And so you can see here, if we're looking at our blood cells here, these ones are normal round blood cells. These ones are sickled, so their shape is different. So if you have a look here, here's the amino acid, so the 3 codons that code for an amino acid. Here it is here it is here. They're all the same, but by changing one letter has changed the amino acid and caused that mutation. So what I'm going to get you to do is to watch a little clip on mutations and answer some questions on a sheet that I will attach into your document and on Compass, so that you can complete this, and then that will be your work for today. Have a good day. Bye-bye.